Welcome back, guys, or if you're new to my channel, this is Automotive Anonymous, and that's a 2025 Subaru Crosstrek. If you're new to my channel, I actually used to own a Subaru Crosstrek. That was a few years ago. I thought it was a really good vehicle, and I'm excited to share this one with you guys today. I've already done kind of a basic overview of the Crosstrek for 2025, as well as a basic overview of the driving experience, kind of an extended driving video. And with the full review of this one nearly done, I figured I will do one more driving video of the Crosstrek while going through all the other trim levels for this year. But this will probably be the only other driving video because the Crosstrek Wilderness is different, special. It has a little bit more ground clearance. It has a more aggressive 411 final axle ratio. It has Geolandar all-terrain tires, and there's a few other subtle differences that distinguish this one from the other Crosstreks. So if you get anything out of this driving impressions video over the next 8 to 10 minutes, and I'll even include a 0 to 60, please consider liking this video. If you want to watch the full review of this vehicle, you're welcome to find that on my channel. It was likely posted a few weeks prior to this video. Otherwise, let's quickly get through it and see what this one has to offer. The Crosstrek is a 5-star crash test rated vehicle. When you have Wilderness, you're rated about 25 city, about 29 on the highway, 27 combined. This one does have the optional package, including the moonroof, the speakers, and the driver's seat. Overall, it's a $37,000 crystal white pearl Crosstrek. And for that, what do you get? Beyond these all-terrain tires, beyond all that excessive cladding on the doors, you still get about 20 cubic feet of room behind it, but no power liftgate. You have a really nice mat. You don't have any speakers back here though, and you should have a temporary spare tire. Unfortunately, these do not have a full-size spare like you get on the Forester and the Outback Wilderness. You actually have enough room in the back seats to fit full-size adults, but more on that in my full review. The StarTech seats look really nice. They hold up well. I actually owned an Outback Wilderness for 3 years, and so there's a lot of footage of that if you want to check that out on my channel. Otherwise, these vehicles age really well. They're very reliable, and they hold up quite well. But since we're in some gravel, let me back up a little bit further and show you just how well the symmetrical all-wheel drive system works, how well these tires hook up even on gravel and loose surfaces, and how much fun we can have with the Crosstrek before we take it on the road. So I currently have this in reverse. You can see the trajectory lines do move. The screen is a little bit grainy compared to how nice the screen you'd imagine it looks, but it does have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, does all the things you need. You know, we're on gravel. I don't see a gravel setting, but I do see deep snow and mud. I also have traction off, and we are in sport mode. So if anything's going to spin the tires with a pretty good throttle acceleration, it would be this. So let me give it at least half throttle, maybe 2/3, and we'll see what happens. In 3, 2, 1. Full throttle, actually. I did not hear, nor detect, nor see on the dashboard any wheel slippage. This thing, it's all-wheel drive, being symmetrical, having the even shafts coming out the front and the rear to the wheels. It does a really good job. These severe weather-rated tires, even on a 33-degree day like today, do phenomenally well. This thing powers around corners, no wheel slip, no spinning, nothing like that either. And let's see how long it takes to get up to speed trying to catch this Hyundai up ahead. Partial throttle right now. I'm back into intelligent mode, and even with that setting, it's basically like you're upshifted compared to sport mode is like a downshift, where the CVT is going to pretend to be in a more aggressive simulated gear so that the power is more readily available. But now that we are up to speed, we are just cruising, I'm going to put this into cruise control. Everything you see that you don't necessarily like or think is legit or is legal will of course be CGI. But Subarus have basically the best economy safety features of any vehicle that I have driven and everything that I review, which is a lot of compact crossovers in vehicles like this. You do have blind spot monitoring on the mirror, so the little nub should be lighting up pretty soon. But overall, visibility in this thing is pretty good. The Harman Kardon speakers are certainly an upgrade over the base system. I just wish that the power moonroof, the seat, and the Harman Kardon speakers weren't over $2,000 of an upgrade. But they do give you a lot more creature comforts. They do give you a lot more quality for this vehicle. But $37,000 for what is basically a very loaded out lifted Subaru Impreza, that does feel kind of steep. You can get a lot of Forester and Outback trim levels for that price point, but you can see still just how good the adaptive cruise control, the lane keep assist works. It's keeping me perfectly straight down the center of the lane. Yeah, Subaru does a really good job, and there's a reason why we've owned a few of these. Everything in here, it's nice, it's quiet, it's contained, it's just a nice, pleasant driving experience. These are agile on the road, especially when you have the more aggressive final drive ratio. You're going to put the power down a little bit better. These all-terrain tires, even though it's kind of an on-road all-terrain or like a soft terrain tire, they actually handle really good. I'll show you this corner up ahead. Let's get onto maybe half brake pedal right here. Slows you down. There's only a tiny bit of nosedive. It's a very smooth transition, and let's take this corner with some speed and accelerate out. Yeah, the transmission, it sounds pretty good. It doesn't make a lot of racket. This boxer engine is not as loud and obnoxious as older boxer engines. And at this point, Subaru is now the #1 rated brand in reliability according to Consumer Reports, which is independent testing. And I'm not surprised. These vehicles are easy to work on, other than the spark plugs, which are at the bottom of the block of the engine. But everything else is just simple, straightforward. Of all the compact crossovers, or subcompact in the case of the Crosstrek, this is actually the only one that I know of that is a unibody and has a longitudinally, basically a rear-wheel drive mounted engine. The serpentine belt is right up front. It's easy to get to. It's easy to work on these vehicles. It has a low center of gravity, doesn't have excessive road and wind noise compared to the other subcompacts, and overall it is just a joy to drive. There's going to be a little bit of a corner up ahead. I'll show you how this handles it with some speed. Chances are it's going to handle it pretty well. But even if I slow down, say a deer pops out and I have to do some agility, I have to practice some American Ninja Warrior type of movements, this thing handles really good and I like it a lot. I really don't have too many complaints. I just wish that this one loaded out the way it wasn't quite $37,000. But thankfully, Twin Falls Subaru, who I'll link below, they sell below MSRP and they ship all over the country, and they'll hook you up with the best deal possible. So go out and test drive one. Drive one for yourself, see what you think of it. But you guys have waited long enough, so let me get to the 0 to 60. 0 to 60 in the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. Density altitude is only 2,100 feet, so this vehicle is down on power only about 7% today. Traction is off, sport mode is on. We're going to do a little bit of a brake rev. Let's see what it can do. Aggressive final axle gearing, that actually took off really quick, but it wasn't until about 4,000 RPM that it really felt like it hit its power band. True 0 to 60 came in at 9.11 seconds. Alright, so a 9:11 0 to 60 is not exceptionally fast. Probably would be at least the second faster for the majority of you guys who live at sea level and not at elevation and altitude like I do. But, you know, that is unloaded. That is without me towing anything. That's without anything on the roof rails, anything causing more drag and weight. That's with an empty back seat and only the backpack as my sidekick special passenger for today. So, you know, this could be a lot slower if you're in the mountains of Colorado, loaded out with people and your snowboard gear on the roof. It could take 13, 14 seconds to do a 0 to 60 run. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But if I'm gonna do a U-turn, this does a full circle in about 36 feet. So it's extremely agile and it's just easy to manage. It's easy to drive around town, but it's still big enough that it handles the road really well. With about an 8.5-foot wheelbase, it just does a good job at managing itself, and you really don't have to worry too much about the Crosstrek. Just fuel it up and drive it. It's reliable, it's easy to work on. It's gonna take you places, and when you have an all-terrain tire like this on it, it's going to get you to a lot of places that you might not necessarily want to go in the front-wheel drive counterparts that are a lot of the other subcompact crossovers. This handles fantastic at speed, at low speed, on the interstate. I've personally logged over 40,000 some miles on my own personal Crosstrek. I've probably filmed a dozen of these in car review videos and other topics related to the Crosstrek. I just think that these are a really good vehicle overall, and they do a lot of things well. Even when I just drive civilly, I'm cruising at low speed, you know, 40 miles an hour. It's only revving to about 1,300 RPM right now. So you can get the EPA ratings pretty easily. Sometimes you can get quite a bit higher than that. In my own personal one, I got anywhere from 30 to 40. Of course, mine was a premium with the 2-liter. It didn't have these aggressive tires and the extra lift. These can be pretty decent economical cars. This one you're gonna have a little bit more trouble with. And if you have a lot of stop and go traffic, probably don't even count on the EPA rating for the city. But if you drive through the country a lot, you drive through low populated areas, you might beat the EPA ratings, and that's pretty cool. Overall, I really have no reservations to recommending one of these. I just think you guys absolutely need to go test drive one for yourself. Test out the CHR. the HRV, test out the Subaru, or test out the Mazda CX-30, test out all of the competition, because there are a lot of very good rivals at this price point and in this class of vehicle, but the Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness is no exception. This is a really good vehicle. I like driving these a lot, and I think there's a reason why so many people buy them. Well over 100,000 sold every single year in the North American United States market, and it's a fun vehicle to drive and one that you might want to get your hands on. But anyways, guys, if you got anything out of this video, please consider liking it. Comment your thoughts and opinions below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that said, I wish you guys the best. I hope you take care, and until next time, see ya.